And we are back on the Fans View, KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent, Douglas Washington, Mary Nickerson on the board. And we have got a special guest in, Jason Righteous Norwood. Jason, we appreciate you joining us.
Oh, the pleasure is mine.
Yeah, so Jason, as Douglas pointed out before we went into break, wrestling coach, Georgetown High School.
Yeah. So let me make a quick correction on that because I'm technically not the head coach of Georgetown High School.
Okay.
I am the only coach that wrestles at Georgetown High School. I'm the only coach with 20 years wrestling experience at Georgetown High School. But I'm not I'm the head coach position. The title is held by a teacher, Travis Kent. So good guy.
Okay.
The wrestlers are going to drop it back. Yeah. So he handles the money. So and as you all know, I'm an Army guy. And I do Army logistics. ISD logistics is another animal.
Yes.
I could imagine. You want to mess with it?
Yeah.
So I'd much rather be concerned with the technical and tactical implementation of wrestling for kids. So that's what I do.
Well, good deal. Well, I've got quite a bit of experience with Georgetown. I'm a former color commentator for football and baseball.
Yes.
At Georgetown from years back, but luckily they went to a state title game when I played football.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. And my daughter went to Georgetown last year. She's going to transfer back to Round Rock this year. But yeah, I've been around Georgetown quite a bit in my life. So,
Jason, when did you fall in love with wrestling?
When it was actually a multi-pronged kind of thing. It happened in 8th grade. I didn't start wrestling in 8th grade, and that was because I was staying after school with one of my good friends, Andrew Duffy, who wrestled. And so I saw it, and so I was like, oh, well, that's pretty cool. Then my cousin, Carlos, he wrestled at Montclair in New Jersey. I was getting into some trouble in school, and he was like, "You want your name in the paper before a fight?" And I was like, "No, it's a good thing." Great. And then freshman year of high school is really when I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And then I got good sophomore year, and that's when I gave up football. I was like, "This all of it."
Man, I wanted good radio here, so I'm a little bit of a troublemaker, Jason, but you'll find that out. How old are you? Like when you were growing up, y'all were reading newspapers and looking for your name in print. You know what? You don't have to answer that. I just want to get the blood pressure going. In high school. Yeah. You sure Marion's over? I think he dyed his hair to look like a silver fox just to get more phone numbers. In high school, this one's a little bit off the beaten path. In high school, after you get your lunch tray, when you walk into the cafeteria, what table/clique are you sitting with and why?
What year? That's the question.
Oh,
So you see, I'm a nerd. So, freshman year, I was very much with the nerds. I had one really good friend. I had Andrew, my good friend. I had Darren, my friend. I was my good. And so I'm hanging out with the nerds. And then by senior year, I'm the senior class president. So my very close circle didn't change, but my very close circle is 3 people. The table fits 20. So, yeah, you know what I mean? Like where we wind up going and who winds up being around us in our periphery changes immensely when you're the captain of the wrestling team and you're all this other stuff. That changes immensely. So yeah, I'm a nerd at heart and still am, and I'm also an athlete, and so I got to play the crowd.
Travis, that's one of those nerds that we can't stuff into the locker.
No, you do not stuff this nerd into the locker. That's for sure. I want to ask you real quick because we're not obviously Texas is not a hotbed for wrestling. The way Oklahoma and Oklahoma State and their program, you've got the Arizona programs that are big into it. And New York, growing up in the New York, New Jersey area, is wrestling big up there?
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh, God. Yeah. So the best schools in the nation, the best school in the nation right now is Penn State. Has been for the last 10 years since Gail Sanderson. I wrestled at Iowa State up there to be a coach.
Okay.
So you have a hotbed in Iowa. Now, I will say that wrestling is not as regional as it once was. It's spread all over. You have guys I remember when Brandon Slade won from Ohio, and like that was a big deal because Ohio, great wrestling area, but didn't have a national champion, right? Now they do. And so that was a big deal. So, those kinds of things now you get national champions from, Indiana and all over the place. It's not just Iowa, Iowa State, Oklahoma, and Penn State, Lehigh
Sure.
that are at the national tournament.
Oh, we got a call.
Oh, okay. Already, wow.
Hey, Cole, you there? Hey, Mr. Oklahoma, how you doing? What's that?
Oh, hey, here's what I'm gonna help you with. While we have a guest, Miss Oklahoma, you gotta have a guest, you gotta have a question for this guest. Let's talk some Oklahoma wrestling. How about that? Since you are Mr. Oklahoma, let's talk some Oklahoma wrestling with our guest.
Why not? How would you? John Smith is at Oklahoma, and he is probably the best wrestler the nation has ever seen, and he's still coaching.
And Tion where?
Yeah.
Well, no problem. What we wanted to do is make sure that we were able to get some calls and talk to our in-studio guest. Since he took the time out, he could have done it through that. So here's what we want to know. Out there in the Big 12, they just got a new coach. You said Mr. Kish took the reign after presiding over the Big 12 conference. In the last 5 years, he was up there in North Dakota with them, and he guided them to a 48-20 record. A winning record each of the last 5 years while he was there. And then he came over to Oklahoma. I am very curious, Mr. Oklahoma, what would it take for you to start watching wrestling? What can grow your interest in wrestling? Because for our fans too, I think we should have more eyes. We're known for that in these parts, just a little bit more towards our north. What would it take for you to come out to a wrestling match?
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay. Hey. Yeah.
Yeah. Our guest actually
out of Oklahoma,
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
need to watch
yeah.
it now.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Oklahoma, we're gonna let you go. We're gonna keep talking to our guests. Well, if we have some time at the end, we have some time at the end, we'll open up the phones again for more talk. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So, okay. Yep. Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I think Marion, did Marion fall? You, okay. Well, Marion's got you. We'll make sure we get you in early next week. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Oklahoma. We appreciate it.
So, Jason, are you exclusively a wrestling athlete?
No, I have been. My journey is storied. Before I did wrestling, I did martial arts. It's probably one of the reasons I got this many fights again. No, that's not true. Not the fights because I was a nerd, and everybody thinks you can beat up a nerd. And I was like, oh wait, pause. Yeah, you can't. Not this one. And my dad, not for nothing, you are probably where you at. John Norwood, Reverend John Norwood, was not a cool guy, but he was really cool. If I beat him for both, I would say that. More than one occasion, he came to the school and was like, hey, you're getting expelled or suspended because you got into a fight. And we asked the principal, who threw the first punch? It was never me, never me. And he would say in front of the principal, so my son defended himself. All right, we're going off wrestling. For you to stay grounded, that was a big thing for me. But yeah, anyway, I did MMA for a long time. I actually still ranked in the Southeast for MMA because of the record that I have, even though I haven't fought in over 2 years. One, because of the pandemic, and then two, because when you get really heavy in coaching, it takes time.
Yeah. So, Coach, you think I can take you outside? Because I'm not really impressed yet. I can't speak for Travis. I'm not impressed yet. You think I can take you outside to the parking lot And
Through the wall, that you could.
yeah, okay, so that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if you needed like a crash test dummy. Somebody. So, do you listen to music when you're training?
Absolutely.
Who are you listening to? Or what genre?
Oh Lord. So I pretty much so every wrestler listens to 80s rock. You have to. It's like a requirement. And yeah, we all. So it doesn't matter how much I like rap, you will listen to 80s rock if you're a wrestler. So that is all of my playlist. Now, of course, there's 90s rap in there too, but every now and then when I'm lifting weights and I just want to be philosophical, was my degrees in philosophy. R&B just like really is when I'm not running and I don't keep cadence.
Yeah.
R&B is when I'll just be jamming out, listening to some Luther sometimes.
Okay.
while I'm squatting, or whatever. I like to do that. So.
Who are your top 5 athlete mentors, dead or alive?
Oh, dead or alive? Oh gosh. So Serena Williams is probably the winningest dominant person in her sport ever. In the world of wrestling, you have, like I said, John Smith. You have Sudalayev was the best pound for pound wrestler, and he got beat actually by a guy on the United States team. Who, by the way, that guy's name is Kyle Snyder. Kyle Snyder got taken down in a camp by a guy that I coached. Maceo Branch. Yeah. So, yeah, it's, man. So there's a couple. Well, there's 3 right there.
Yeah.
I would also put up in there. I mean, for wrestling out of the United States, you have Cael Sanderson, and you have, of course, the Dan Gable. But for wrestling in general, you have Sergey Beloglazov, possibly the best wrestler to ever do it. As far as being a guy who knows every position through and through.
Yeah.
That's probably 6, but yeah, I'm trying to stay on 5. It's way too many.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What inspires you today in your coaching? Why do you do that? Why are you coaching?
The mind here is kid.
Oh, so it's about that youth movement.
It is. You don't understand. Like, so I'm a disabled veteran. Every morning I wake up in a lot of pain. But I get up every day because I have 2 girls at home that have to see. No matter what, I've got to do it. And so then I see them push themselves. The other day, one of the best things that ever happened to me, my daughter came up to me like, Dad, we haven't gone to the gym in 2 weeks. I was like, oh, okay. That's the most inspiring thing to me. Like,
Yeah.
It's not me. It's already in them. Sure, right? We got to push ourselves. And so that's really it. That's it for me. I can do it.
I'm a little curious here. Do you have any other talents that you like to be known for?
So actually, I teach defensive tactics of all kinds. Yeah. So actually, after we're done this, I gotta go teach you guys shoot. Yeah, I teach defensive tactics of all kinds. I obviously, I have a black belt in judo. I have a 4-star black belt in jiu-jitsu. Mixed martial artist with 20 wins. So I do unarmed combat and have done that for some time, but I also do armed combat.
See, notice that, Travis. This is why I live life on the edge. At no point has he said he is a runner. So I can just talk all I want to talk, and then
as long as you run fast.
Exactly.
You know what happens when you run from a fight? You die tired.
That's right.
You die tired.
Come on, Dougie. I didn't say I was right.
So I want to talk about your past a little bit. So you got high school into West Point?
Yes, I went to West Point, and then after that, I got to go to a training center with the All University.
Okay, good deal. And you former military, thank you for your service. We appreciate that.
Service.
I consider you. I hear you talk about the disabled veteran and waking up and pain. I can sit here right now. I see the scar. I see your left wrist, and that doesn't look fun to me.
No,
I don't know if that was wrestling or what that was caused from, but that doesn't look fun.
No, that was not. That was not actually. Yeah, I've had 26 surgeries being my lifetime the other day. So yeah, one time, a fun story. I went. Fun for me. It was my 3rd surgery in a row. So I had surgery Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday, they try and put me under, and the anesthetic isn't working. And they're like, what's going on? I was like, well, I don't know if y'all know this, but I've been under the last 2 days. You know what? You should have told us that.
Might have built up a little.
Yeah, a little bit of stuff. Yeah, so.
So when you make that transition from traditional wrestling into MMA, and we've seen a lot of MMA fighters do that.
Yeah.
Around here, maybe Johnny Big Rig Hendricks, a Dallas native, and Oklahoma State is one of the most famous ones. What's that transition? You're wanting to continue that athletic career, right? You've got something in you that's not done yet. So talk about that transition over.
That was exactly it. I got pulled out of Army training facility because I had to go in deployment that I wound up not having to go on. So it wound up not being my first deployment, but I thought it was gonna be. And so I still wanted to compete. I feel like it was driving me. Wrestlers are very weird. Think about this. We work harder, and I'll prove this to any athlete ever. We work harder than any athlete in high school and college. We have to do, what track stars do for their job is what we do for conditioning. We work that hard for what? Because there's no stadiums for wrestling if you're not in Iowa,
right,
or Oklahoma, or now maybe Penn State. There isn't. So we do it so that on a Saturday, 6 people will watch us dominate another human being.
Yeah.
So that drive and that consistent need to work hard is what makes you a great mixed martial artist. Because you're going to do the right thing when nobody's watching. You're going to manage your weight, which is part of it, right? You're going to work and you're going to train. You're going to do 3 a day, because that's what it takes. Football players talk about 2 days. You're going to do 3 a day. That's what it takes. You're going to do all of the stuff behind the scenes when nobody's looking and when people are looking. And you're just going to find the need to drive yourself because it's you driving yourself. You don't need anybody else there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the transition. That's actually what makes the transition easy. The fact that you still have a fire and the fire won't go out, the rest of the stuff is easy. And then, of course, inside of a cage, what does every wrestler do? You dictate things like happens.
Right.
If you're a boxer, I'll take you to ground. You can't box there, James Tony. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're a great grappler, you'll never get me down, right?
Yeah.
How many black belts? I had a black belt on my back in a fight. Oh man, okay.
That's a little backpack.
You're not.
So Jason, when did you become the best athlete in your family, and how did the incumbent at that time take it?
I guess the incumbent. I don't know who the incumbent was. I want to say it was Brett. Actually, everybody has been athletic. My dad is really heavy now. But my dad was so athletic at the time. He was a boxer. I got his greens, his officer uniform, and I graduated West Point, which now they don't even wear. But and it was too thin for me.
Wow.
My dad is twice my weight now. Back then it was too. I couldn't fit my arms and legs in. He was jacked. Yeah, he was a 180-pound boxer at the time, or 160-pound boxer at the time. So, yeah. I don't know. Everybody kind of encouraged me though. I didn't really have. Nobody wanted to push me off my title as far as that was concerned. My parents weren't really into me wrestling so much, but my cousins were all there, like, yeah, go, get this done. And then when I started fighting, of course, my mother, she wasn't into it, but what mom is.
Right. I can imagine.
So.
What would your peers say about you to describe you?
So funny we talk about that. I was just talking to one of my best friends from high school, and he was like, "Yeah, I saw one of the guys you graduated with." I said, "Yeah, Jason's fighting." He was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." I was like, "Really?" But yeah, no, that definitely tracks. So I didn't even know that, but yeah, it definitely tracks that I would be fighting for the rest of my life.
You do know at some point an old folks home is going to have to accept you, right? Because it sounds like you're bringing a lot of baggage.
I'm just trying to go out on top. Like, I'm not trying to be here when it's over.
Yeah.
When it comes time to exchange, I'll just turn it.
Yeah.
So you said you've been inactive MMA wise for the last couple of years. Are you retired, or are you out there? You still willing to look at a fight if the right fight comes along, the right promotion?
4 months ago, the right fight came along. I got ready, and then the guy couldn't get his license.
Okay.
So and it was perfect timing because I was coming out of season. I was like, "Oh yes, we're gonna do this." And yeah.
So what is your legacy after wrestling for your family and for your university? What is that legacy?
Oh, my legacy is actually probably not even necessarily on a map. My legacy actually is probably in social justice, weirdly enough. You know, it's a big push for me right now. I didn't, you know, I tell people all the time. I experienced the world through my lens as a Black man in America, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize certain other isms that exist because the one that hurt me was racism, right? That's what I saw. But working with these groups that I've worked with, I now see the confluence of all those isms and sexism, all those things, and they have a nexus point, right? And I'm trying to get rid of it. And so I'm hoping that that will be in the mentorship of the children that I mentor. That will be the instinct, right?
Yeah.
It won't just be, you know, I've got an All-American underneath me. I've got a couple state champs underneath me. Not here in Texas yet. Should be.
Okay.
But that's not true. My daughter's a freestyle state champ. Who am I talking about?
You're getting put in a headlock with you.
We always get the one closest to it.
But yeah, so I think though that's probably my legacy is trying to get right.
Yeah. We don't have too much longer.
Yeah.
Who do you admire and why?
So it's not so much a person as it is a position, right? Yeah. I admire anybody who has a position of authority, right? That is benevolent. Because I have been a commander. I was a commander, actually one of the reasons we won the Army, but I was a commander in the Army. My last name was for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of in the Army.
Sounds pretty
people are like, what? No, we'll talk about it. Anyway, and it's very easy to let that go to your head.
Yeah.
And so whenever you're in a position of authority and you're benevolent, that takes something. Like you gotta get up in the morning and try that. You gotta get up in the morning and put yourself in place for that. So I am always in awe, no matter what position.
What are some changes that you would like to see at the top levels of wrestling at the college or university level?
So I want to see women's wrestling grow. Like couple of keynotes for you. So I was just doing some research before we got in here, right? The fastest growing sport in the United States is pickleball. That's crazy. What? The fastest growing sport in high school and in college is actually lacrosse. Fastest growing sport for girls in the state of Texas.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, this is great. So that's one of the things I want to see. Now, Texas is about to get Tarleton University is talking about having their first Division I program.
Okay.
For wrestling. That would bring, of course, hopefully also a girls Division I program. They need to start having girls Division I programs everywhere that they have a boys Division I program for wrestling. Because the fact of the matter is that girls are great wrestlers. I'm not just saying that because I'm a girl dad, which I am. I know I'm biased, but they're awesome at every age, right? When boys would respond with girls respond with technique a lot of times, especially when we talk about it at the high school, right? At the younger ages, when boys don't quite understand the body yet, girls do. So there's better control, there's better general understanding. I love helping all kids, right? But I like seeing it click with girls because also the other thing too is it gives them confidence. I'm not worried about my girls being victimized, right? I'm not, because my daughter will, who like presses 380 pounds, pick you up and dump you on your head, and I'm good with it.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
We are in the last minute as we close out. We'll just go ahead and ask you here. Thank you for coming in. Really appreciate if there were going to be opportunities when the wrestling season comes back. If you'd be interested, we'd be interested, especially now that I know we've got some connections to Georgetown High School there. Very interested in that. How can we find you on social media?
Yeah, so my middle name is actually Righteous. So I know that's important, but quite literally it's my given middle name. So Right Fight 170 is me on TikTok. You can Righteous Wrestling Club. If you check that out, you'll find me on there. And find me on Jason Righteous Norwood or Jason R. Norwood on Facebook. hit me up. I actually am still taking clients currently for defensive tactics classes. So if you're interested in that, feel free to look me up and hit me up.
Wow.
Yeah, my opponent was actually on the Righteous Wrestling website, so go to Righteous Wrestling.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Jason, thank you very much for coming in. We really appreciate it. And we're gonna hold you to that. We're gonna have you back on, even if it's just call in. We'd love to keep up with you, keep up with the program. And I want to know more as we get into wrestling seasons, more about Central Texas high school wrestling. I really don't have much. I've known some youth who have wrestled in high school, but just don't know much about the club system. We'd love to have you on talk more about that as well. So
absolutely, I'd love to come back, and it's growing. Central Texas high school wrestling is growing. Y'all need to come out and watch these kids get whooped up.
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, Jason, Righteous Norwood, we appreciate you coming in. We need to get to a break. We'll be back right after that here on the Fans View KAZI 88.7.
Oh,